What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to talk about some negative news that came out for Tesla involving its EPS as we got a big revision and what this means for the company moving forward. But before I break into the devil's information, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, for Tesla, we're going to be watching some very, very key levels, very close to 178.5. We have this resistance. It's not too far from our 20 EMA, which is where Tesla is trying to fight right now. For support, watch 177.5. If we end up losing that, watch 176, which is where our 50 EMA happens to be. And if we lose that, watch this trend line, not to mention the 172 support below that. As of right now, Tesla's kind of between these EMAs, kind of shuffling between 178.5 and about 176, going back and forth for now. But the question is, what's happening with all this news? What's going on with it? We have a bit of a downtrend on the stock since we had this high at 184, excuse me. We came down, then we hit 182, and then we came down even lower. So it is on a bit of a downtrend, but whether this continues or not depends on how we end up basing. We have to try to break past 182 to turn back to bullish. If we fail to do so, this thing could continue to downtrend for some time. Now, for Tesla, I just want to call out that we had some news that came out. In the morning, we had some good news because Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas has reiterated his bullish target at $320 a share, saying that CATL and Tesla are going to be a very, very great pair for the future of battery manufacturing and also things like that. So that's actually some good news that came out that caused Tesla to pop a little bit. But then we also had some negative news that came out. I wouldn't say that this is why Tesla kind of dropped. This could be just like another thing worth noting, at least for Tesla's like longer term. So the issue is that Bernstein analysts have come out and they're saying that there's soft demand in China, and they're projecting that the EPS of Tesla is actually going to drop by about 24%. They're saying that Tesla's going to have some hardships, and they're saying that earnings may not be the best for Tesla when they come out for Q1. Not to mention the fact that deliveries may also be a little bit lackluster in their opinion. So we're seeing a lot of negative news out there, lots of constraints that they're talking about. That's part of why this is a little bit negative for Tesla. Despite that, Tesla is still kind of holding up relatively well, but we'll have to see how it ends up performing from here. So we're going to be watching this 178 zone. It's kind of shuffling around here for now, trading sideways for the time being. If we continue to sink, watch 176 and eventually a drop to lower levels. And if we try to turn bullish, you want to see it break past 180 and 182 to turn back up. As of right now, it's kind of stuck going back and forth, but it's looking a little bit weaker because Tesla is on a bit of a downtrend. So it's showing some weakness right now overall. It's on a bit of a downtrend, but watch this resistance as we approach 178.5. How about for SPY? Unfortunately, SPY has been pretty tricky. So we got another false break or an attempt to break out from this little wedge right over here. And then what happened was we came back down. Now we're barely testing 520. If we do lose this, I'm going to be watching this 518 zone. 519 is where we have the support right over here at this trend line. Depending on the timing, it could be a little bit lower than that, to like the 518 to 519 area. And if we do lose this white trend line right here, we're going to turn back to bearish, and we could see this thing dropping all the way down to like 517.5. And lower levels like that become a real possibility. If we lose this trend line, we haven't lost key support yet. And as of right now, SPY is trying to shuffle around 520. I am seeing some weakness on the chart, though, so be a little bit careful with this. Resistance, you're going to be watching this imbalance right here at 520.8. If we break past this, we could go all the way up to about 520. We came just short of 522, so this zone right here is kind of like a resistance. And then besides that, I would say that we're so far kind of shuffling at the 520 area. If we lose 520, we could be coming back down towards the 519 zone right over here. And if we lose this, a bigger drop will come. As of right now, SPY has not lost critical support. So we have this big white trend line in the bottom. You guys can see it's been holding SPY up. So right here, we bounced off of it, and now we're still holding so far. So it's still holding up. It hasn't officially lost key support. Make sure you watch that 520 area. There is a risk of this dropping a bit lower later on, but right now we're seeing buyers trying to defend 520, so it's kind of shuffling around there as well. Same thing with the QQQ. We came all the way down to 442. So ultimately, I did end up being right about 442. It just didn't happen the way I thought it would. I was thinking that right here we would come down to 442 and then try to rebound a little bit. Instead, what happened is we rebounded first and then we came down to 442. So it's a little bit different, but still not too far off from my video from yesterday. So now we're going to be treating this 444 area as resistance and also where this trend line happens to be as resistance. For supports, our critical support is actually, well, we have some at 443, but it's very minor. The very strong support's at 442. If we lose this, watch 440. As of right now, the QQQ is kind of shuffling just under 444, so it might decline a little bit more and just continue to trade sideways. Then we'll have to see what happens after that. For Apple is now attempting to rebound a bit, but watch resistance on the hourly 200 EMA. So it's trying to rebound, but not getting a big break just yet. We have to try to break not just 172.5, but also try to break this 200 EMA. If we do break past this, we could see a bigger push for Apple all the way up to about 176. If we reject off this, we could come back down to 170.9. As of right now, Apple is showing some life, so we'll have to see how it goes. On top of that, let me just call out the Nvidia. And by the way, with Apple, we're just kind of stuck at this 172 range. We're showing some life, but we have to try to break this 173 area to start pushing up higher. Still waiting for that, but there is some potential for Nvidia. I was saying that for Nvidia, we're going to be watching to see if we could hold at 925 or not. If we manage to bounce off this, we could have made our way back up. If we fail to hold 925, a bigger drop would be coming. And lo and behold, we ended up losing 925, and then we got the big drop all the way down, not just to 908, but also 900. So Nvidia is showing some weaknesses, just shuffling at 900, kind of stuck right here. Watch 908 as critical resistance, and if we end up losing and failing to break through that, we could come all the way down to 892, the previous level we had. So Nvidia is showing some weakness and may continue to shuffle at 900 as we have a critical level right there, and that is why the QQQ is kind of doing what it's doing. So that being said, guys, for Tesla, the news is all over the place. We had some good news that came out about their their price target for the future, and we also had some bad news for Tesla that came out involving their EPS. So far, news is kind of mixed. Tesla got a nice pop and drop. It's also kind of like cyclical for Tesla to do this. We got this nice little pop and drop on Monday, pop and drop on Tuesday. Today we kind of popped and then dropped, and now we're just kind of stuck between these EMAs shuffling at 178. So we may continue to do so for some time. So make sure you watch your levels. There is a risk of this coming down lower if we end up losing 178. So be a little bit careful. But as of right now, let me just say the overall trend on Tesla, at least for this week, is a bit more bearish. We are downtrending since yesterday. So we'll see how Tesla does. Make sure you watch your support and let's just see how well it holds up. It does not look like it's, even though it's downtrending a bit, it does not look like it's crashing. There's a big difference between that. It's not necessarily crashing. It's on a bit of a downtrend. And it's now just kind of shuffling at 178. It could come down a little bit lower, but it's not really a very, very quick drop. It's just slowly on that trend. All right, so that's it for this one. It may continue to just be stuck within this range for now. So we'll see how it goes. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours. Thank you. Tesla to the moon, because the long term is still very bright, despite what we're seeing right now, and peace out.